Hello, good evening. My name is Okoye Duke, and the title of my journal is Entrepreneurial Opportunities of Refugees in Germany, France, Ireland, Multiple Embeddedness Framework. So I'll start with the introduction. After that, moving forward to the SWOT analysis, the strength, the weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Any other supported theories in conclusion. So first off, I'll start with the introduction. Refugees are forced to disconnect from home, country, network affiliation, vacation belongings in home country due to political instability, maltreatment, fights, and war. So what this simply means is that people are forced to leave their countries to be refugees in other countries or to seek asylum in other countries just because their countries are not working and not giving them what they want. Either they are fighting war, they are being maltreated, or there's political instability. So example of countries that are fighting war: Syria, maybe Iraq and Iran, and so many other countries. But I'll also use my home country as a case study. A lot of people leave to seek asylum or be refugees in other countries. You have people leaving from going through land from Nigeria to Libya, then from Libya to Italy, then Italy to Germany, then from there to Spain, as the case may be. This is because of the political unrest in the country, and so many people are facing maltreatment. And like there's something that happened during last year, 20th October 2020. It was a massacre in the place called Lekki Toll Gate. So it was something that happened because the citizens were seeking redress from the government. They wanted the government to do better. They wanted good amenities, social, basic amenities for them, but it turned out to be a massacre, and there was someone who was at the forefront of it all. She was a DJ. She was forced to leave the country. She was forced to leave the country to go somewhere else and seek for asylum. She's a refugee in some other country just because she wasn't feeling safe in the country anymore. She said her life has been threatened and so on and so forth. So this is what this topic is trying to talk about. That people leave what they are used to, their life, because of war, maltreatment, fights, and political instability. So the refugee entrepreneur potential has attracted several studies based on the potential entrepreneurs' political embeddedness benefits. The refugee embedded in France, Germany, Ireland is considered in three contexts: the home country, the host country, transactional, human, and social capital embeddedness. The adoption of the mixed multiple embeddedness framework concept on 6 discovered patterns is presented. So we'll go to the strengths. Legal status approval, self-motivation, resilience to host country constraints have encouraged refugee entrepreneurial participation. Legal status approval, it means when you're seeking for asylum or you're a refugee, that means the government knows you're in their country. You understand? So you have status approval. You don't have to run. You don't have to hide. You can do everything legal within the law of the host country. So self-motivation, if you know where you're coming from, like it is for us in Africa, if you know where you're coming from, you should know where you're going to. So if you know how much suffer and how much you've left behind, how much you've suffered, maybe in the refugee camp or so on and so forth, you'll be motivated to do a lot of things to better your life, because if you're in a refugee camp, most definitely you'll not be getting what you need, all the amenities, all the available things you need, all the things that can make you the kind of person you want to be. So you'll be motivated living from hand to mouth. Let me just put it like that. So commitment and productivity in host countries. Right to administrative and legal protection encourage the strong will to seek an alternative path for entrepreneurial career in host country. The factors informed by good creativity and innovative thinking and strategy formulation. You see, refugees develop innovative strategy. When you are pushed to the wall, you'll be forced to come out with ideas that will change you to better your life and better the life of the people at home, because you definitely need to send resources, money to the people at home, because a lot of things are not going well. Refugees develop innovative strategies for problem solving skills, for the entrepreneurial resources mobilization through the collective bootstrapping and entrepreneurial bricolage to overcome unsuitable condition in host country. You do everything humanly possible, everything within your range, legally, very important, legally, to overcome unsuitable condition in a host country. Weakness that the refugees face during entrepreneurial activity, traumatic experience suffered by the refugees entrepreneur in the past affect their mental, psychological performance as a successful entrepreneur in host countries. Like I had a friend a female who left the country through Libya, Togo, Ivory Coast, and so on and so forth. A lot of things happen. You have to do so many tedious jobs to eat, to feed, to be able to get through the day. So when you think about those things, when you are in a refugee camp, when you think about those things you've gone through, it weakens your mind. It weakens your ability to think and be productive. So that's what this passage is talking about. And a lot of people, maybe war, a loss of life, family members, not knowing how they're feeling, how they're doing, how they're faring, friends, and so on. When you think about those things, it dampens your thinking. So lack of institutional knowledge, maybe no school because of war, no proper education, and when you get to the host country, you might be you will need education to fit in. If you want to get a better job, you need education. You understand what I mean? If you need a better job, you need education, and if you want to function well, and if you want to change the situation of things, you need this education. And there's newness in the host countries. Some people are just born to not want to welcome people into their country. That's how they are. You might come into a country and it'll be difficult for you to relate, difficult for you to mix, difficult for you to talk with people. So this is another thing that can hinder people. This is another weakness that can hinder entrepreneurs in the host country from forging ahead. Resources constraint and lack of financial resources. As a refugee getting into a host country, you definitely have no money, so you have to look for means, ways, and how to get money to start your business, to start whatsoever it is you want to do. So it is difficult to get money. It is difficult to come up with money, a capital for you to start your business. So it's way difficult in a host country. Capital may hinder the refugees entrepreneurial due to homeland country disconnection. If you're disconnected from your country and there's nobody you can call, hey, send me money, or this is the means you can get through to me, I want to start a business and stuff, and it'll be very difficult for you to lift your spirit and to start up a business. Wrong perception on legal and social as refugee status negatively affect their entrepreneurial activities. Yes, maybe people in the host country might have wrong perception about them leaving their country, and they'll be scared to give jobs, or are scared to patronize the entrepreneurs. You understand what I mean? So it happens. Opportunity. A small margin in the institutional disparity between refugee countries of origin and host country. The external factor encourages the ease of refugees embedded in a similar culture, sociocultural belief in host countries. Say, in Africa, there are francophone countries, French-speaking countries. So if you live from one French-speaking country and seeking asylum or being a refugee in another French-speaking country, first of all, you've gotten one thing right. That's the language. It'll be very easy for you to miss, and it'll be very easy for you to communicate. So maybe their culture can be same. They listen to the same music. everything might be same, so it'll be very easy for you to miss. When you have opportunity, you can easily click with someone else. Provision of refugee support environments as part of mainstream society through business support from business incubation scheme focused on refugees overcome entrepreneurial embedded challenges from host countries. Policy formulation that encourages the choice of host country by refugee will improve the refugee embeddedness in the host country entrepreneurial sector. Value creation with homeland resources, transactional middlemen, minorities, integration, facility qualification transfer, solving homeland problem, and creative innovation are other opportunities. Threats. Refugees confronted with institutional roadblock in the host country are seen in legal issues, sociocultural, market-related obstacles. So, threats in host countries, like I said earlier, they might be scared that, oh, I don't know what brought him or what happened in their country, what brought them out of their country, and so on and so forth. So it'll be very difficult for them to give you an opportunity to come into their market and penetrate through their market. So despite your knowledge and your know-how, they will not want to give you the chance. So these are one of the threats that the host country face, and is also a threat to the refugees. Lack of access to support system and infrastructural facilities from the host country's government may also hinder emergence of entrepreneurial refugees. What this simply means is there are laws guiding states, and there are laws guiding countries. There are laws guiding when you want to get into when you want to penetrate into a new market. There are laws, and these are enacted by government. So it may not be suitable for a refugee who wants to be an entrepreneur to penetrate into a market, because there are laws set aside that hinders them from getting into the market. These are government laws that prevents them from getting into the market. Forcible migration disconnects refugees from their homeland. Like I said earlier in the introduction, when you leave your country forcefully, you disconnect from your homeland institution and require political transformation with individual to realize embeddedness. So you will need to have in the host country, you need to learn. If it's the language, if you're not used to the language, you need to learn. If it's their way of life, you need to learn. If it's for you to be, for you to put yourself out there for the people to know who you are before they accept you into their market, you have to do everything possible for you to get into their market. So that's another threat that refugees face. Framework of refugee multiple embeddedness. Host country embeddedness, mainstream refugee support, ethnic communities, homeland, refugee communities, homeland embeddedness, economic theorem, Baumo, 1968. So conclusion, refugees are classified as entrepreneurial agents that help contribute to homeland, country, and host countries. Contributing to homeland, country, and host countries. When you're an entrepreneur in a host country, you patronize them, you do business there, you spend your money there, and you spend your money there, you do all your things there, you buy your stuff there, you pay your taxes, and also you're benefiting the host countries. And in the home country, how you benefit the home country? You have families back home, you want to send money home. Maybe you have a project back home, you're building a house or setting up a business back home, also maybe expanding your business back home and stuff like that. So it's also another way to grow the economy both home and in the host country. The identified patterns indicated how the refugees adopted their multiple embeddedness for their entrepreneurial advantage in host countries. Refugees entrepreneurial activities contribute to host countries' economy through several socio-economic, like I explained earlier, value additional through innovation, promotion of home cultural. Like here in Malaysia, we promote our stuff. We meet a lot of people. Maybe some Nigerians are married to Malaysians, Chinese, as the case may be. We eat their food, they eat our food, we bring our culture, they watch on TV, they get to know our way of life and our culture back home, down to our cuisines, our food, and everything. So it's also a way to promote our culture, and it's also a way to expand our economy, contributing in the host countries. And lastly, refugees' multiple embeddedness determines six entrepreneurial opportunity structure, value creation with homeland resources, transactional middleman minority, integration facilitation, qualification transfer, solving homeland problems, creating innovation in host countries. That's all, and thank you very much for your time, and thank you for listening to my presentation. Thank you very much.